Hello, I'm Eric Snodgrass, and thank you for watching this ag forecast for South America brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. On satellite imagery this afternoon, we can see the beginnings of what appears to be a pretty healthy monsoonal circulation. You can see many of the storms here continuing to fire in Brazil's north and central growing areas. You can also see where a broad front has really cleared things out here in parts of southern Brazil. And this is going to be an area we're going to talk about a lot at the end of this forecast video when I discuss some of the new long-range data and the implications of the developing La Nina. So when we just think about the rain that's coming in here, remember we have to have this moisture in place in order to get the crop up and going. And the semi-normal return of the monsoon this year has got us with a pretty aggressive planting progress graphic here. So we know that between now and about mid-November, better than 80 to 85% of this crop is going to get planted. And we're currently sitting in Mato Grosso, so that would be the largest northern state there, at about 6%, and normal would be 3 and a third, and last year we were at 1.7. So we're just at the very beginning of this. But the thing I'm looking for here is to see if the monsoon is giving us signs of being healthy early. And I'm certainly starting to see that. Another way we can look at it is just to kind of examine that precipitable water. So this is how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And what we're looking for is the gaps toward these colors down here at the bottom of the color bar. That would indicate where we're too dry. And so if the monsoon doesn't have that moisture to work with, then it just won't produce the daily convection. And what I'm doing is just, I'm kind of walking you through much of the next week to 10 days. And you just generally see these high precipitable water amounts, meaning the chances of us having a more normal start to this monsoon through the middle of this month and beyond look pretty good. All right. So when we look at the next 10 days on the whole, this map shows you precipitation anomalies, so differences from normal here. We do not see broad swaths of colors like this in these north central growing areas. And as a result, we're seeing the monsoon fill in, and to the south here where we're interacting that monsoonal circulation with frontal boundaries, we're expecting extremely heavy rainfall. Some places in here might pick up an additional 100 millimeters compared to normal, or 4 inches more than normal. But to the south of it, getting into Uruguay and into Argentina, we're picking up on a drier signal. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on there. So we're going to do that using the high resolution European model. And we do have these titles in Portuguese, just for those that are watching in Brazil. But as we play this forward through the end of this week, there we are on Friday, now Saturday, you can see there's high pressure to the south. And right here is where we're squeezing the air, basically causing it to rise, where the monsoonal circulation runs into the front that's to the north of that high. So some potentially heavy rainfall in that area. We're talking about Saturday and now getting into Sunday. And you're going to notice that that same area through Sunday, getting into early Monday morning, is going to continue to stay wet. And here's into Monday. Next Tuesday, we get a little bit of a break midweek next week. So here we are in the middle of next week, getting out to Thursday. And then as we approach next Friday, once again, another boundary establishes in this area. Now you notice that during this, we saw regular flashes of green. That's the European model picking up on the daily convective activity. That's just normal for the monsoon. So we now see that next weekend again, we have the heavier rainfall in southern Brazil. But I want to be clear here. This is mostly in Mato Grosso do Sul. This is in Paraná and parts of Paraguay. So it's this region that's seeing the heaviest rainfall. In fact, let's just add it up so we can see all of it. This again is just total accumulated precipitation in millimeters. So there's this weekend's heavy rain right there. And then as you see going into next week, we continue to add until we get the big push again. Ready? This is next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's what we're doing. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So the potential in this area of picking up anywhere between 100 and 150 millimeters of rainfall, maybe more in some locations, is quite high. But the normal monsoonal rains seem to be returning to Brazil's central north growing areas. All right. As we step out into week 2, we begin to see that pattern we were concerned about, where you get south of this line, the frequency of rainfall events was dropping off considerably, while much of Brazil's central, north, and eastern growing areas are expecting above normal precipitation. And when I see this showing up in the week 2 forecast, which gets us out there to October 21st, the question is, do the long-range models hang on to that in terms of persistence? And the latest data do show that as the case. So this would be mid-October through mid-November. It's a 30-day graphic. And we continue to see south of that line much drier than normal conditions. So Rio Grande do Sul, Uruguay, and this side of Argentina, which, there's a lot of crop that has grown to the east of this line. I'll kind of shade it in here for us so we can see that growing area. Now, when I see that showing up this early in the pattern, what I'm reminded of is that that is a very distinct La Nina-like precipitation pattern. Aggressive monsoon north, drier to the south. That is what we typically get from La Nina, and I'd like to show you that here, okay? So first thing we're going to do is look at the current La Nina. When you see this, I'll just let you know the Southern Oscillation Index is at a 10, almost 11. Stronger trade winds, and that cold water, as we presented last week, does extend pretty far into the south. Like Nina region 1.2 has some cold water in it. And just thinking about that, and thinking about the ocean temperatures here, which are warmer than normal, supporting with higher water vapor content, we're going to ask what could this La Nina do as it progresses, because it is forecast to do so. Just like I presented in my North American videos, we're now seeing the latest La Nina forecast through January showing up at now getting down there with about a -1 Celsius a cold bias. And that would be stronger than what we originally anticipated. But then you notice starting February through March and April, this is going to rebound quickly back to back to normal. So remember, we start harvesting the first crop of soybeans sometimes in late December, but a lot of it is in January and February. And then we have the overlap of the planting of the safrinha crop. And so therefore, what this transition may mean later in the season, we're going to have to watch very carefully, because it's the transition that's key. So I'll keep you up to speed on that as we go throughout this growing season. But this might be important for the planting progress of the second crop, or safrinha crop, which is mostly corn, because we know that the beans are going in relatively aggressively or normal. So we know this about La Ninas. For December, January, February, we're expecting this to be a strong La Nina at that point. Well, stronger than initially anticipated, not a full strength La Nina. It is historically correlated with drier conditions south. See that? So this positive correlation means that when the ocean temperatures are cold out there in the middle of the Pacific on the equator, this area tends to be drier. And so I wasn't surprised when the new long-range data were released earlier this week on the 5th that the December, January, February precipitation pattern favored dry south of that line. And this would be very impactful should this verify for the Argentinian crop. It's the best guidance we have right now, so I cannot give you an argument against this happening that would be of greater value than an argument for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I'll have to do is we'll take the model forecast at face value, knowing that it's giving us a very La Nina-like forecast, but we also must remember that beginning maybe January, early February, this La Nina is going to transition back toward neutral conditions. And what I found interesting is that if I kept playing this out, this is a 3-month sighting window, so December, January, February. If we go January, February, March, and then February, March, April, we saw that drier region crept north. And so this could be very critical for that second crop. And we'll watch it carefully. And like I always say, I'll keep you up to date. I'll talk to you again on Monday. We'll see what the new long-range outlooks look like for much of November and keep a close eye on this planting progress. I'll talk to you then. Thanks.